Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Sunday Spotlight. This week is a special week. This is Kristen Huffman. I am the Executive Artistic Director of the New Paradigm Theater Company. And one of the most fun things that I get to do is I've also helped the youth board. We're a nonprofit, but we have a board of directors, an adult board of directors, but we also have an amazing youth board, and they contribute mightily to what we do. And on the next slide, you will see two of those guys I want to introduce to you. Matt Sweeney. Go ahead and change that, Nate, so they can see you guys. Matt Sweeney.
Hi, how you doing?
And also Nathan Clift.
Hi.
Nathan is the one who created the PowerPoint this week, and going forward, they will be producing this. I'll always do the introduction, but we're going to hand it off to them. But you can see right there, you can point to Matt. He's the guy with that green tie. Yeah. And Nate, I'm not sure if we can see you actually in that picture on the right-hand side, but we see Shayna, and Shayna's on the call as well. She's listening. And we see two of our other members over in the left-hand corner, Shay and Shelby. And this is just a great group. And then there's Kevin Durkee. So we've got 7 youth board members that really contribute to what we're doing. And we've got a couple of gigs coming up as well, May 11th and May 17th for other nonprofits. They'll be singing waiters and waitresses, as well as a lot of the people on this call who are my college students who are our interns. So go to the next slide, Nate. And I'd love to introduce to you one of my dear, dear friends. Got the next slide, Nate?
Yes, it is.
We're still on the youth board slide.
Oh,
There.
I'm on.
There we go. Excellent. Gwendolyn Jones is a dear friend of mine. Gosh, Gwendolyn, we've known each other since 90 something?
96 or 95, I think.
Wow. 19.
So,
Wow, that's a long time. Some of these kids probably, I don't even know they're born. But we've known each other. We were in a production of Jekyll and Hyde at, what was it called then? La Comedia, but it was called
yep.
something, Miami
It was
Valley Dinner
at
Theater.
that point.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
And
Every
we
2
sat,
years they changed.
right, we sat right next to each other in the dressing room.
Uh-huh.
And I was preparing to go over to Germany to be Christine in Phantom. And so she would read Carlotta with me in German, even though you don't really speak German, do you?
No, I don't.
No. And so she was reading that. She'd give me my cue lines and I would read back. And we've just stayed friends ever since. She's the godmother to my children, which are dogs. I don't know if she's included this in her bio, but she also ran a farm with llamas and so forth. And I'm going to hand this off to Nate and to Matt, and you'll read her bio, and they'll take you through this PowerPoint. But I'm just tickled to death that Gwendolyn is my friend. She's going to be performing on May 17th with us for the United Way. So, of course, we hope that you come to that, maybe hear her, and some of you will hear the biggest belt voice in the entire world. So, Gwendolyn, Matt, Nate.
Hello.
Hi,
Hi.
how are you? Thanks so much for coming out.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, um, so you attended the American Musical Dramatic Academy, of course, in New York City, as
Yes.
well as the Shenandoah College and Conservatory of Music. How much um of your education that you got at both schools affected you in the future, like from then till now?
Oh, immensely. Well, I also actually attended the American Academy of Dramatic Arts as well in New York City. Um, it's funny. As a student, you may not like everything a teacher teaches you. You have many, many teachers in your lives, real teachers that you pay for in the school atmosphere. You've got your compatriots, your fellow actors. They're all teachers. Life is a teacher in and of itself. And what, as actors, our job, I feel, is you take a little bit from everyone you learn from, and you create your method that works for you. I still actually have little tricks if I'm having trouble with finding a character. I have little tricks that I've learned actually from even going back to my high school drama teacher.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah, it's interesting, and you'll find as you're going through when you're talking with fellow actors, and you're talking about your methods and how you work, and you find different approaches that people have. Some approaches you may go, oh, that's insane. Nothing is insane because if it works for them, it's perfect. It may not be right for you, but if it works for them, it's perfect.
Great. Okay.
Did that answer your question?
yes, it did.
Great.
Um, and I actually have a follow-up question in a way. Um,
Please.
I understand that you've played like a great range of characters, from like Reno Sweeney to Mama Matron to Mrs. Meals and etc. Certain type of character.
It's funny.
Uh,
There, we kind of lost you there for a second. You said, is there a certain type of character?
Yeah.
yeah, like do you always like play kind of like in a way like the tougher, more darker roles?
That's funny. No, I believe that each and every character that I've played, um, is different. And I also have to say, I've played several times. I've played Sophie Tucker. Oh gosh, we did like 3 Florida tours. I did it twice in New Jersey, once in upstate New York, once at Queens Theater in the Park, and then we had a long off Broadway run. And I've got to tell you, when the cast changed, so did I, which is interesting because even though it's the same character and the same lines and the same music, and sometimes even the same outfit and the same set, the some of the actors that I was working with changed. So my response to them and my lines changed because I was getting different impetus for my responses. Does that make any sense?
Yep.
Yes, it does.
So I mean, I'm not always the big bad meanie. Mrs. Mears was bad, but it's always I find to try and make characters a little bit more likable. You have to go back and try and find each and every one of their humanity. Even though a certain character might be evil, which, let's face it, the evil ones are always fun to play. But what's fun is finding
I would agree.
how to make them also likable so that your audience wants, loves to hate you as opposed to hating you. You never want your audience to hate you.
I'm curious because I always like to ask this question, but do you think there's a character that you've played that you most resemble or that you connected to the most? And if there is a character, who do you think?
Well, I think right now, probably the one that's on the screen in the upper left-hand corner.
Who is that?
That's from. You should know her. She was the rag lady from Jekyll and Hyde.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I think this was probably the first incarnation when the makeup was really, really drastic.
Yeah.
That I most am like. You want to know what's really crazy? I would probably say Dolly Levi in Hello Dolly.
Yeah.
Really? Why is that?
Kristen, do you concur?
Um, somewhat.
I love to hook people up. I love to, oh, so and so. You need such and such. You need to meet so and so. I'm always doing that. I'm always putting people together, introducing people. Oh, you would be perfect for this job. Pick up a phone call, and in 2 weeks they're in that job.
Right.
Sometimes I think I should be an agent because I've gotten many people jobs that way. Just saying, oh, I know the perfect person for that. And I've been lucky enough to be in the right places in the right times at times to be able to get my friends' work. If I could get myself work the way I got my friends' work, I would be in like Flint.
I feel like
But
you're kind of
I would.
I feel like you're kind of Sophie Tucker too, though.
Well, oh yeah. Well, actually, see, but I think as a character actress, I am a little of every one of the characters that I've played. I think our job as an actor is to make our characters believable. And one of the best ways to make your characters believable is to find the commonality between who you are and who that character is and just magnify it into a separate character. So therefore, it grounds in reality.
We have a
So
real. Oh, sorry. Did you have more to
go
that?
ahead.
No, I was
No, I'm just saying, so it just grounds it in reality and makes it believable.
okay. We have an excellent question from Casey Dupler. Casey, go ahead.
Hi, Gwendolyn.
Hello, Casey. So good to see you here.
I have a question for you.
Surely.
Did you find that because of your type, did you have to grow into your roles, or
Uh,
did you always manage to find work at whatever age you were?
I have to tell you, I'm very, very fortunate. You can even ask Kristen. Um, I have been very lucky in usually when I want to work, there's work for me.
Hmm.
But I also have to tell you, and sadly it's not happening as much as it used to happen, but when I walk into an audition, I'm usually 15, now only
Wait,
5 years younger than
you're
everyone
what?
else
We
in the
missed
room.
that. You're 15 what?
Years.
Too young?
No, 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 no. I'm usually when I walk into a room, like for a callback situation, most of the people there are like 15 years older than I am.
Oh.
Unfortunately, lately, it's not happening as much, and if it does, I'm now only 5 years younger than everyone else in the room. But I was very lucky in that when I was just starting out, I was able to, in the non-equity arena, um, get quite a bit of work doing the character roles. It was a little harder when I made that first jump into equity, but there was always a pretty steady flow. Again, I don't know. I find myself very, very lucky in that aspect.
How long did you stay non-equity before you went equity?
I turned equity in 1997, and my first job happened in the summer of 1988 when I graduated from the American Musical and Dramatic Academy.
So you did stay non-equity a while so you could get some stuff on your resume.
9 years.
Yeah, good. Good.
9 years, gosh, 4 tours, many regional houses. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Okay, awesome.
Actually, all of this on the page right now is non-equity, and that's me. In the upper right-hand corner, I was doing hair. That was my first night on as Jeannie, a role that I took over uh, later on in tour.
Ah, what's the one on the left?
The one on the left is the first time I played Miss Hannigan.
Okay. And then the bottom right is the same thing, or is
Uh,
it another one?
Bottom right is the first national. It was an equity of, wait, let me see the kids here. Okay, all of those. This was actually the Far Eastern tour, which is an international tour of Annie.
Hmm.
And then the left bottom is 42nd Street.
Great. Okay.
So I have a question. How do, I mean, if they do at all, how do the international tours differ from your, your North American tours?
Well, it's funny. Well, you get, see, this is so fantastic about what we do. What other job pays you, takes care of your housing and your transportation, lets you play, and lets you see fabulous places in the world.
Yeah.
I've been to Singapore, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Taipei, all over Europe, Canada, the United States. It's been not on the same tour. These were several different ones. um, what a heck of a tour, huh? It's kind of wonderful. It really the one the difference I have found between equity and non-equity tours. Um, Equity tours are kind of great in that you have to they have rules that they have to follow. So you can't travel all day and then do a show.
Mm-hmm.
Which on the non-equity tours I remember were really, really tough. Um, they could dump you with 5 minutes before you had 30 minutes for a show, and there's no food to be had for dinner, and you haven't eaten since lunch, which is one of the good things about our union. Uh, if that's the case in a union tour, they have to feed you.
Mm-hmm.
So the company manager would get on the phone and say, "We're going to be late. Have food ready for the cast at the theater."
Right.
And sometimes you're dropped in a town where everything shuts down at 6 and there's no food or anything. Uh, you're on the road. You don't necessarily always have access that you're used um, to get what you need when you get it. You have to really start thinking ahead of schedule. And on an equity tour, there are things built in, whereas in a non-equity tour, you're a little bit more on your own unless you have a really good company manager. Make friends with your company managers.
Right. And how many times have you been in nonsense?
Oh, I I well, I the first time I did nonsense was probably 15 years ago. Um, I did Nonsense 2, and I'm currently starting rehearsal for that again tomorrow. I'm doing another production of Nonsense 2. I just finished tour of Nonsense Boulevard, which is, I believe, the 8th of the series of nonsenses that Danny Goggin wrote. It was the first national tour um, starring Cindy Williams, and we just came off a 6-month tour of that. I just went from, 3 different nonsense ones back to back. Basically, I've been in habit for a year and a half.
Is that like,
good thing I look good in black.
Is that like a forever plaid? Like once you're in that most shows, you just continue to get work in those shows?
Kind of.
Okay.
Hey, I'm hoping that's the case. That was kind of the gamble I took in taking Nunset Boulevard. And actually, it's very, very funny. I was finishing up Nonsense 1 down in North Carolina, Flat Rock Theater, and I saw in the papers that a theater in New Jersey was doing Nonsense. So I sent my reviews, my picture and resume up and said, you're having your auditions 2 weeks before I get home. I would love to be considered. And I got an email back from the director, and he said, well, we pushed back the auditions 1 week. We'll be having the callbacks the week you return, that Monday. And I said, well, I will be getting back on Tuesday. So they moved the auditions. I dumped my dogs, grabbed my tap shoes, and in a 15-minute turnaround after driving up from North Carolina, was tap dancing on stage and got the job the next morning.
That's awesome. Well, and you should know Gwendolyn's mother was a prima ballerina, and they actually had it's a home. Her house was in which state fair? What was it in?
It was 1936 World's Fair.
her house was featured in the World's Fair. So she had this big, massive house. And there was actually a dance studio in there. So even though she's a character actress and she plays all these kind of Mama Morton type roles, she's an excellent tapper, excellent dancer too.
Now, on that, if I may follow up on that, there's a wonderful, wonderful choreographer who is unfortunately no longer with us by the name of Tony Stevens that I luckily had the fortune of working with before he passed. And I was at an audition with him for a show later on after I had worked with him. And we were doing our dancing, and it was delightful for me to hear this feedback from someone I respected so much. He said, I wished some of my dancers had some of your technique. So even though you're a character actor or actress, you know, when I walk in the door, just by my looks alone, they go, oh, God. As long as she doesn't fall over, we might be able to use her. So it's always a good thing to take those dance classes.
Yeah. Yep. Good.
I'm a surprise. I love to say when they go, well, can you dance? And I'll say, well, yes, I can move. And then I always underplay. And when I actually do the dance call, they're like, okay, you can actually dance. So that's always kind of a good thing that I have in my back pocket. And I do rely on it very much so.
Yeah.
But definitely, even though you're a character actor, and a lot of the time character actors and actresses do not need to dance. They just kind of need to be able to go, oh, this is my right foot, move it forward. It's always good to be a little better than that. Because let me tell you, it's great to see a choreographer's eyes light up and go, oh, now I can do this, and I can do this, and I can do this. It's great to be able to have them work with you and on you, as opposed to going, okay, you just stand there and try not to kill anybody.
Good. All right.
So, I have a question about this Radio City Christmas Spectacular and you and Mrs. Claus.
Yes.
How much
Yes.
fun was it performing in Radio City Music Hall for multiple seasons?
Well, I've got to tell you, I have a little bit of history. As Kristen already said, my mother was a dancer. I was kind of a bastardized legacy. My mother was a rockette. So for me to have been cast as Mrs. Claus and be on the same stage that she had danced on many, many years prior was terribly exciting for me on that level. But then to stand, when I first went and stood on that stage, first off, that stage is probably one of the largest stages in the United States. If you ever find yourself in New York City, take the backstage tour. It is amazing. It's fantastic. And it's, okay, that's the good part. The bad part, they owned you. It was a lot of work. There are only two casts. So, yes, the Rockettes have a double cast, and they've got 6 swings for each cast. But there are only 2 Mrs. Clauses. And, you know, there were days that we were doing 6 shows a day.
How long? How
And
is it? An
even
hour
though
show?
it's an hour and a half long show.
Woo.
So we were there from 8 in the morning to midnight.
Mm.
And even when you weren't on, because there were only 2 of us, I would call in at 30, at half hour, every show to make sure she was there, she was healthy, she was, you know, accounted for. Because if she wasn't, I would have to get in and be there ready for my part.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually did happen once. It was a little scary. They did find her, and I was able to turn around, but I was already like at the tunnel, um, ready to go on. However, it it's really really tough when it's just the two of you, because you did have to be there and be close and be on and ready to go, even though it was your day off. You never really did have a day off.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Radio City houses 6,000 people per show. So there is no, oh, someone's sick. We can't find the understudy. We're going to cancel a show. When tickets are $50 a piece at 6,000 seats, that's just not going to happen.
Right. Right.
So they did own you from October through January, but the stage is amazing. The first time I walked out on that stage and I looked at 6,000 seats in front of me, I felt blessed. I felt overwhelmed. I felt glorious. And I also felt about the size of a piece of dust. It's truly amazing.
Now that picture on the left there isn't though Radio City. You played Miss Claus for Indianapolis Symphony and Detroit and tons of them, right?
Actually, I believe this picture is from Oklahoma City, and I'm going to be going back to Oklahoma City Symphony this Christmas. I just got that phone call 2 days ago.
Oh, good. Always Mrs.
We're working on it.
Okay. You had to play the
But,
accordion.
yeah, that.
Go ahead, Nate.
Which one am I addressing?
Um, um, so the bottom right, as I remember you telling me, this is from a show called Grand Hotel. Am I correct?
Yes, yes, it was.
How much fun exactly, like, was doing that show? Because it's a show I'm not very familiar with, so I just want to know, like, your experience with it.
Well, is anybody familiar with Grand Hotel?
I am. I saw you do it in Pittsburgh.
Oh gosh. Oh yeah, you did. Grand Hotel is not done very often, and
You're quiet, Gwendolyn.
probably. Pardon?
You're really quiet now, which is
Oh,
not like you.
how's that?
No, you're still quiet.
I have no idea why.
Put it closer to
Hold
your
on
mouth.
one. It is as close as it's going to get. I have no. How's that?
Yeah, that's better.
Better?
Yeah.
Grand Hotel is a fantastic play, musical, I should say. The characters are very strong, each and every single one, and every single character has their moments to shine. Um, and one of the things that I absolutely loved about this show was we never left stage. Once we came on stage, we were on stage for the entire show. Um, and the way it's set up is there are banquettes around the entire base of the stage. And there were all of these subplots that, even though they weren't taking place in the lit arena of the main storyline, our director, and it's also actually written into the show that this happens. There are all kinds of things that, as actors, we were allowed to explore and utilize while we were in the banquettes and in the dark. Uh, what was going on almost as the background of what was happening in the hotel. So for me, uh, I played Madame Pee, and she was the head housekeeper. And I had all of these subplots that I had written in my mind and down, and went over with the director. And he's like, "Great, explore this one. Don't do this. This works great. Try this." And we were allowed to play every night as long as we didn't pull focus. And it was a wonderful, gosh, I did that show 4 times. It toured. It was sit down. It was mounted at Walnut Street, and then it toured all the big. It was like Benedum. We played someplace out in Seattle and someplace else, and each time we did it, of course, it changed a little bit because the theaters would change, but nothing was ever set in stone. You would go to work and it was a different show every night because people would have, I would say I had 5 to 10 different storylines that I would play, depending upon what part of the show, who I was sitting next to at the banquette. And literally the director would say, okay, now you go sit over by Madame PP. So at that point, my storyline would change, and I would go, because I'm not the main storyline happening, but I did have relationships with everyone in the show. So for me, it was a total month of acting exercises, and it was great to have a director that trusted the entire cast to play without stealing focus.
Nice. Hey, Gwendolyn, Casey has another question
Sure.
for you. Casey?
Hi. Okay. Do you find that you're being called in and considered for more comedic roles than dramatic roles?
Um, Actually, I would say yes, because there aren't, I'm trying to think, there aren't too many dramatic character roles.
Right.
That's or maybe it's just my outlook on life. I try and make everything kind of funny. So perhaps I'm thinking that, all right, so Camille, she's a comedian, right? I would make her funny. At least I try to. Um, but yeah, well, yes, I would say definitely more comedic.
Okay, well, which do you prefer? Do you prefer playing the comedic, the comic relief, or do you prefer having that really dramatic part?
Well, with both, they both have their payoff.
Right, totally.
They really do both have their payoff. I have to say that it depends upon where I am in my life.
Hmm.
Um, I have been at times where I've gone, oh God, why can't I just get a really serious? Why can't I be the leading lady? And then I get a leading lady role, and I'm like, God, how can I be? I'm like, God, this sucks. Everything is on my shoulders. I've got to carry the whole damn show. Why can't I be the character actress who comes in the 11th hour, does one show, gets a standing ovation, walks off, and I'm done.
Nice.
So that's not, but seriously, that's kind of at times how I feel. Be careful what you wish for because you will get it.
That's great.
But I've been, again, very lucky. You know, Hello Dolly. I've played Dolly now 3 times. Um, she, I would say, is definitely a comedian, but she's also dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
And she never leaves stage.
All right.
She is on all the time. She never gets a break. It's a tough, tough role. But, I would say she's both a dramatic and a comedian.
Mm-hmm.
But that's definitely one of the roles where I'm like, oh, God, give me the 11 o'clock hour and done.
Right.
Because it is a lot of work. It's a lot of stress. And if you're dealing with a cast that's not behind you and isn't supportive, it's horrific.
Right. Now you've done a lot. This is with Gwendolyn and I both work with Indianapolis Symphony, and all these symphonies that you see, or a lot of them anyway, are related to Indianapolis Symphony. Tell them a little bit about, part of the reason that you're hired is because you're talented, but also you're easy to work with. Tell them your philosophy on that. Tell them your philosophy on that. I mean, you don't burn bridges.
Exactly. Gosh, there are so many little snippets of wisdom I'd love to give to you all. And take them and do them what you will. I think a lot of the time, I've actually been in front of the table at auditions and behind the table at auditions. Um, One of the things when I'm behind the table at auditions, I like to look for in a resume uh, if a person's played in a theater more than once
Mm-hmm.
in a different season. Like if you've got a rep theater, I want to see if they've played that rep theater 2 or 3 seasons because that means one, they're talented if they're talented in the audition. Two, that they pull through and they do their work. Three, that they were easy to work with because if you can have all the great theaters on the world on your resume. If they don't want you back, there's a reason.
Yeah.
And most often, it's not because you're not talented, it's because you're hard to work with.
Mm-hmm.
So I always try and be pleasant. Um, if you have problems, keep it away from the theater, keep it away from the rehearsal hall. That's not where your problems need to be. You're there to do a job, do your job. If somebody else isn't doing their job, your job as an actor is to go to your stage manager and say, they're not doing their job, they're hindering my job. Never ever give a note to another theater actor. I'm sure you're all Kristen's students. She's said that.
I don't know if I ever have because I don't direct them,
Right.
But yeah,
That
she
is
give notes to other
pretty
people.
much, yeah, that's pretty much death in the business.
I mean, because I allow them
You,
to comment in their master classes,
well, a
and
comment,
they're
well,
very
that's expected.
right, and they're very respectful of each other too.
Yeah, I mean that's a different arena. If you're in a collegiate area, well, at AMDA we had musical theater class, and once the director worked with us on our, they would always open it up to the class, and of course, always respectful. Um, However, when you're in a professional situation and you're working with an actor, and the actor is not doing what you think they should, tough. Because you might not be doing what they think you should be doing. And
Right.
if the director has told them to do something that you're not privy to, you don't know. So, I mean, if you have a working relationship and you're working with the actor and you say, well, can we try this? Can we try that? But never, ever go up to somebody and say, you're doing that wrong. Because that'll be the first thing that will get you never hired there again.
Right. Hey, Gwendolyn, we have actually on the webinar, we have Gerald Goldstein, who is also a character male, Broadway professional, who's going to be playing for you and us at the May 17th gig. And I'm going to put him on the spot. I'm going to unmute him. He actually had a question. I wonder what that is. Maybe he's going to say, don't do that. He said hello. Okay, good. I'm going to ask him if he has any question that he would ask another character actor or something that you guys would relate. I'm going to unmute him, put him on the spot.
Where do you buy your makeup?
Oh, God.
I have no idea. First thing I want to say is you're a big liar because Dolly does leave the stage because I play Vandergelder. So, right?
Okay, so there are two sections that she does leave.
It takes a woman and elegance.
Yes, those are the two spots.
Now that's a way to start off. That's a really good way to start off a relationship, Gerald.
So, big liar. I'm going to hold you.
Liar.
I think this is wonderful. The Mrs. Claus must be so much fun because there really isn't a Mrs. Claus, and you get to do whatever you want, right?
Well, it depends. I've played Mrs. Claus in many, many different arenas. A lot of different incarnations of Mrs. Claus. The Radio City Music Hall Mrs. Claus is definitely the quintessential baking cookies there for her hubby kind of Mrs. Claus. My Mrs. Claus with the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra is a little bit more of a diva. She wants to take over. The Mrs. Claus I'll be doing with the Oklahoma City coming up is kind of a little evil. So we'll see where that goes. But for a while, I was the biggest holiday run because I was doing all of my Christmas shopping on December 24th on my way home from a job. I would do my Christmas shopping in the airport because I was doing Mrs. Claus. So I would be playing Mrs. Claus for everybody else to have a wonderful Christmas. And my Christmas experience was shopping on the day of Christmas in, the airport trying to get my family gifts. But wouldn't trade it for anything. Mrs. Claus, probably one of the most fun characters.
Cool. Hey, I'm going to see if I can get Nate to change presenters now, because I have a few other pictures I found of you that I thought were good too.
Oh, dear Lord.
No, they're good. They're good. So, Nate, you just go up to the right-hand corner and hit change presenter on that tab.
Yeah, my computer was like freaking out. Sorry.
Okay.
I am
There you go.
passing it over to you.
Show my screen. Okay, so now hopefully, can everybody see my screen now? Can you see it, Matt and Nate?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah.
That's Gwendolyn and her
Yep.
accordion. She had to learn to play the accordion, which really, the thing that bothered her the most was that she couldn't wear her long fingernails. Just take your nails. How long did it take you to learn the accordion?
Well, I still am not an accordion aficionado. But basically, I got a phone call from the presenter at the ISO, the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra, asking me if I had ever wanted to play the accordion or if I did. And I said no. Mind you, I don't even play piano. And I said, yeah, sure, why not? Thought he was joking. The next day I get the phone call back saying, okay, we're bringing you back to the ISO, learn the accordion. So I was like, okay, I'll get on that. Got on it. 7 lessons later, I am literally in front of the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra playing the accordion, both hands. I was able to get both hands going. And I kind of looked like what I call the St. Pauli girl on crack. Do you have that photo at all? That I think I sent you that.
No, just this one.
I may not have. They basically wheeled me on stage. I was wearing a German imported dirndl. I had the Brunhilde braids. I kind of looked like Princess Leia in blonde.
Yeah.
And I was like totally St. Pauli girls out. And my chair blew bubbles.
Nice. Which clause is this?
Yeah, it was. This is Indianapolis, I believe.
Yeah, they have great costumes.
Yeah.
I love those bloomers.
Like my glitter panties?
I do.
Yeah, my glitter panties.
What the heck is this?
This is, oh gosh, this is the world's premiere of Meet Me at the Pitkin off-Broadway.
Nice.
I
see you with these kind of funny, dark things.
What are you saying, Kristen?
I just think you do funny and dark really well.
Okay. All right. Now we're letting these people in on our kind of friendly banter relationship. Maybe we ought to think again.
What is this one? This is pretty.
This actually was a wonderful medley. It was a Disney medley from, what was it? It was a Christmas show at the Baltimore Symphony.
Okay. And then my favorite, he already had on there, but it needs to be a big one. They need to see the large version of this. There.
Yeah,
I think we bought these.
That's my bah humbug.
I think we bought these when we were in Kmart and we were doing Indianapolis Symphony together.
Yeah.
And I kept telling you to use your indoor voice. You were really loud.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. And
Yeah.
Matt, do you have any other questions? We're almost at the end of our time with Gwendolyn. Do you have any other questions for her?
I was actually about to ask, what is that?
Is
What
this
is that? This was actually a wonderful duet that I sang with several different people. It was, oh gosh, to the music of Tchaikovsky's Sugar Plum Fairies,
oh right.
and they put lyrics. It's called Shopper's Lament,
Oh right. Oh,
and the first time I did it, I had one set of lyrics. Then the second time I did it, they had changed the lyrics, but not only did they change the lyrics on me, they changed my part. I was doing the response as opposed. So each time I did it, I basically had to learn everything new each time I did it. And I
nice.
did this number about 4 or 5 times.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it was fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Gwendolyn, for being our guest on Sunday Spotlight. Guys, you did a great job. Matt and Nate did a
Can
wonderful job, and
I
everybody.
ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Sure, go
Um,
ahead.
I would like to consider me and my sister character actors. Um,
Hmm.
so what would you recommend for character actor if you were going out for like the role of, let's say, for example, like Mrs. Hannigan or Mama Matron? What would you do during the audition process to to help you get a callback?
It's funny. There are a couple of things that, and Kristen, chime in if you disagree. I personally think when you're going in, do what you do well. Do what best shows you off. There are a couple of things before I leave you guys. Um, One of the things that somebody had asked me years ago, and it's one of the best questions I've ever gotten in my life, is what is the one thing you wish you had known years ago? And my one thing is you can never be everything to everyone. Do not take this business personally. You will go to audition upon audition upon audition, and you get rejected 9 out of 10 times. But you can't take that personally. And one week, literally, I was told I was too tall, too short, too fat, too thin, too pretty, not pretty enough, too blonde. I looked too smart. I didn't look smart enough. I was too fat. I was too thin. You just can't be everything to everyone. So you can't take it personally. You never know what exactly they're looking for. The only thing you can do is go in and do your best that day to your best ability.
That's great
And
advice.
what really hit that lesson home to me was the monitor of this one audition I went to said, "Don't even bother." And I went, "Excuse me." My attitude came out, and he goes, "You look just like this guy's wife, and he's in the middle of a divorce."
Huh.
So you never know what's going to happen. And yeah, I didn't get a call back on that one. But seriously, you truly never know what they're looking for. You might be the most perfect person for a role, and you don't get it, and you don't know why. I'll give you another instance on that. I was on hold for a role for the summer in a place that I've worked several times, and I was told by the artistic director that because of politics, they had to go with a 20-year subscriber who was also a donor who was also needed to be in one of the shows for politics and transition.
Right.
So you never know. You could be the most perfect person for the part and not get it for any number of reasons.
Yeah. That's really good
Um,
advice.
That
yeah,
that
and
was really good. Thanks.
one other piece of really great advice I've learned Be nice to everyone. You never know who people are. I've had wonderful conversations with people going up and down elevators. Come to find out that they're the director. They're the wife of the choreographer. Always be nice to your accompanist. Thank you. They can thank them. Be nice to them. They can really screw up your audition.
Yes.
And as I said, I've been in front of the table and behind. I've also monitored auditions where always be nice to your monitor. You never know who they are. Great time with a monitor once. She walked me into my audition and she said, hire her. She's a lot of fun. Come to find out, she's the choreographer's wife.
Wow.
Things like that. You just never know who people are. So yeah, always be nice. Always thank your accompanist.
Excellent.
Those are just a little bit.
Those are, and you can find Gwendolyn on Facebook, and she'll decide if she wants to friend you or not, if she'll accept your friendship. But you can absolutely, and I find her very accessible, so I know I can say that about Gwendolyn. And then a lot of you will see her for the May 17th gig. So those of you who haven't heard her, you're in for a treat. And those
I got to start working on that music.
Yes, you better. Yeah,
So not fair.
She's gonna sing "Poor Unfortunate Souls." It's all a beach theme, by the way. So one of hers is "Poor." I can't wait. I can't believe you don't know that one yet. You totally should have that one in your
rep. Right?
Yeah. So that's one of her songs, and "Sailor of My Dreams," and other stuff that I can't remember right now. So
I have to miss all this.
And you're gonna dance too, Gwendolyn.
Pardon?
I didn't tell you that.
Oh, delightful. Should I break out my pointe shoes now or wait till later?
You're going to be dancing with one of the executive directors. So this year, instead of doing a song about him, we're taking him out, and we're going to come back and dance a 30-second dance, kind of like Dancing with the Stars, to one of the Beach Boys tunes.
Cool. He was cute.
Yes, yeah. And on that note, with that one, thank you everybody for tuning in. Oh, you know what I want to do?
Thank you, Matt.
I'm gonna try something.
Thank you so much.
Because this is you. I'm gonna unmute everybody, and you can all say thank you, Gwendolyn, at once. Ready? Oh no, I didn't do that right. I muted everyone. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Okay, wait. Oh, now I can't unmute you. Wait. Okay, well, goodbye, everybody.